Hello, today we're just going to be focusing around awareness and drift. This is going to be a part of a 4-week journey we're going to be going on together. It's going to be titled Back in Alignment. So step one of back in alignment, getting back to alignment, is acknowledgement. So a lot of you have gone through programs or just similar things. I mean, if you go to any addiction or anything like that, they'll always talk to you about awareness and acknowledgement. And step one being the realization to know that you have a problem. And obviously, to be able to get to that point where you are able to acknowledge it, that comes through self-awareness. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, right? But all too commonly, or just for me anyway, a lot of times I can acknowledge when I am entering those seasons or when there's a need for change due to a couple areas of my life. So first of which is your nervous system overload. So I think we've all experienced this where it's just been a really long day. X, Y, and Z happened, and A, B, and C didn't go your way, and everything's compiling and correlating into some recipe that does not make good things. And it shortens you. Your normal ability that you have is lessened. Your ability to be able to just withstand and tolerate just all the extraness and things that comes up in life. You're just too overloaded. You're too overstimulated to be able to process and regulate and go through your normal day-to-day functions that would be regular to you. So when you notice yourself in seasons and just regular tasks and everyday things that normally that you wouldn't necessarily blink an eye at or even give a second thought to become and start to feel like taxing things where they're demanding energy from you, that is a great thing to acknowledge. It's a great thing to be aware about, to notice. Another great thing for myself, again, these are me personally, I hope it, helps you have a critical thinking period where you can acknowledge some of these things in your life, or maybe they're similar for you and you go through similar processes. But secondly, most often I'll remove boundaries, and that's both ways. Not only in regards to just what I allow people to do to me, what I allow to come into my life, what I tolerate. You'll notice when you're stressed or in a season of just not growth and not greatness, your boundaries will start to waver. Things that you would have never considered letting someone do to you, or a position that you would have never put yourself in. Those restrictions are down. Those limitations, those guards, they're not there. So you'll find yourself in positions and doing things that just don't align with who you are as a person. And I think a lot of times that's extraordinarily noticeable, and it's sad and it's terrible because you don't notice until you're in that scene, until you're in that moment, and you sit there and you realize this is not what I'm intended for. This is not what I was created for. And on the other end of the spectrum, I think we do the same outwardly as well. Not only do we allow and tolerate and accept things that we regularly just would not, but we do things and we expect things from others, and we look in things in events or whatever it may be that we wouldn't regularly be looking for. But your boundaries wavering and lines being blurred and your definition being distorted. Now the beautiful thing here is that realization, that awareness, that acknowledgement that your nervous system is overloaded, that your regular tasks that, hell, maybe even brought you enjoyment are taxing and overwhelming, and your boundaries and your lines and the definitions of who you are and what you tolerate and the things that you accept are blurred. The beautiful thing is, friend, is that when you acknowledge these things, it is not an announcement of your incapability or your belittlement. It is an acknowledgement that you were intended and created for something better, and you are realizing that. See, I think all too commonly people enter these seasons where they realize that they need change, and it becomes a demotivator to them somehow when it was intended to be the exact opposite. You see, negative things were created to give definition to lights. There is no understanding the peaks without the valleys. The yin and the yang, the good must exist within the evil, and the evil must exist within the good. Both is required and needed to be able to understand and comprehend and grow to reach the other. The position you're in, it is not a signal of defeat. It is a signal of change for something better, and I don't think there could be any better win. You are powerful beyond imagination, beyond capability. There's no niceties in playing small. Now, let's talk about some tangibles. When you are acknowledging these things, when you are realizing these changes, for me, something that helps my compulsive, overreactive, intense mind that I possess is silence and prayer, truthfully. Moments, honestly, most often early morning, before I start my day, 5 a.m, and I sit and I pray to God. I just spend that time with Him. No motion. I don't want to move around. I don't want to pray in a begging or a transactional way. In the morning, you're setting the tone for your entire day. In that moment of silence, in that moment of prayer, whatever it looks like for you, I believe the best and most impactful thing that you can do with that time is manifest, to dream, to envision, to live. It's all of those things that you think and you dream up, and you attract them right to you. Become the magnet that pulls every dream out of air that you could ever create. Another one that's been very resourceful, and I've personally been focusing on just getting better with it overall, is writing things down. A lot of times when things are in our head and they mix and twirl with all the demons and things from our past and experiences that have no relativeness or relation to this current scenario, a lot of times it feels like a storm. It feels like something that could not be conquered. It doesn't feel real. It's fake, right? But it still controls you, and the ability to be able to just clearly write it down on paper, to put words to it, to be able to tangibly look on a piece of paper and see the thing, the base of what is holding you or has chains on you, it's empowering. There's a lot of different writing activities that you can do. One that helped me a lot in business and just my mental health is pros and cons or feed and eat, right? So, I mean, if it's a business scenario or a decision that you're making that doesn't necessarily directly relate to you, or it's about another item or person or X, Y, or Z, right? Pros and cons list. I mean, we're all familiar with those. All the good things about it and all the bad things about it. And I'm sure a lot of you probably do this, where just writing it out and putting it on paper changes it entirely. It makes it an easy decision, one that was complex and you could not even think what the first step would be. Putting it on paper, and it's now suddenly an easy decision. I think the same with our brain, and in regards to the things that we consume into our mind and the things that need food and energy from our mind, consuming or feeding. So you would write down, just like a pro and con list, you would write down everything that feeds your brain, everything that feeds your energy, everything that feeds your soul. And on the other hand, you would write everything that drains you, everything that drains your energy, drains your brain, drains your soul, which I don't think is possible. But nevertheless, just being able to tangibly see it on paper completely revolutionizes the way that you look at your problems. Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully this 4-week journey becomes super impactful and helpful for a lot of you. For my sons, when things get loud, don't run. Get quiet. I love you boys, and I'm so proud of you. Enjoy the day, everyone. Happy weekend.